All right, we have this ball, heavy ball animation where it goes to jump and bounce and just sinks into the ground. Let's see if maybe we can put some fills into this, some color. Let's start with maybe the ball itself. So we'll go to the lines, which is the ball layer. I'm going to lock the other ones just so I don't inadvertently add something. We could technically do this. Actually, let's do this on a fill layer just in case we want to do something extra with it. And since it's unlocked, that should be okay. I'm going to choose a color here in material. Right now, the line is black. Let's choose the color, do something kind of bluish. That looks all right. Got the paint bucket selected, and we got that filled in. So I'm just going to move to the next frame and continue this process. If the ball doesn't change on the line, I don't need to add a keyframe there with fill either. Interesting. I think what I want to do is I'm going to undo those. So it was taking into account all the visible layers, and I think I want to hide the effects layer because I think I want this to just fill without regard for that effects layer. Whoops. Otherwise I risk if the effects change, then that becomes a problem. I think that's it for that. Alright, so then let's turn the effects layer on. Let's rewind. Well, here, let's do both. Let's turn the effects layer on and then turn the or the onion skinning off. Boom. Alright, so let's go for the effects fill. And that starts right here. And I think the way I'm going to handle this is I'm debating on, let's just leave it white. Alright, so we need a new material. I'm going to get rid of the square stroke and the dot stroke, and I'm going to add in a new material, and this is going to be effects fill, which really is just going to be a ground color, which is white. And while I'm at it, I'm going to make the stroke color white as well, just in case I end up wanting to draw to solve this, because I can kind of cheat this process, and I'm gonna. And you'll see as I go, I suspect. Alright, so I'm on the fills layer. Got the bucket selected. Can I just fill that without it taking into account? Let's see. I don't want it to... Looks like I have to hide the... Not the effects. Actually, sorry. I don't want to be in the fills layer, so maybe that was the issue there. Ground could be visible. Line could be visible. Let's see. Alright, let's try it this way then. Let's hide those. I don't know if it's actually filling it because my color is white. So let's try this. Let's do a slightly off white for it. Actually, let's do it this way. Make it just a little bit darker. I can't tell if that changed it enough. Alright, we're going to go darker still. I'm not convinced that is adding it in there. So let's do something crazy. Yeah, it's definitely not. Alright, so why is that? I'm on my effects, I've got a keyframe layer there. I bet it's having trouble. Is that a fill that it's working with on top of that? Ah, it could be because it's locked. See, it's always something simple. Well, not always. Sometimes it's something simple. When we're lucky, it's something simple. Alright, so I'm going back to white. And I guess I need to make sure that that sticks as white. Oh. White would be 000, or is it FF? I think it's F's, right? There we go. Alright, so it's actual white. Fill in with white. Let's see if I can do this now with everything else visible. Even if they're locked. Alright, so I don't want those visible then. Let's just do this. Oh, come on. I know it's not. Oh, here we'll do that, and then we should be able to get away with that. Alright. A little harder to keep track of the white on white. Probably should have gone with a different ground color. That was my original plan, was to maybe change the ground color. It still doesn't do that, so let's add. Switch to the pen for just a moment. Back to this. Paint bucket, then we can fill. Go to the next frame. Fill all these in. Anyway, I was going to do a different color for the ground and then make it a little bit easier to see when I was doing these fills. But yeah, I didn't think that was going to go. Almost there. Good enough. Alright, so then with my ground layer and fills and everything else turned on, I'm going to come back here to there. I'm kind of thinking it might be smarter. Let's see, I think the rest of us can get locked in for a moment. It might be smarter to just move my ground change over here so that way it's underneath everything. Lock that in, then come to my effects, unlock that, and I was thinking it might be easiest to I want to maybe it'll just be easiest just to erase. Gotta get to the right layer. There we go. And then come back in and just Like I said, this is the cheating part I was talking about. Alright, next frame, we'll erase that bottom edge. And then I'm going to come in with that pen. Explosion a bit. Oops. Just take the top or the bottom edge of that off. And add a little bit back in. Seeing the straight edge of the ground plane there, which I don't like. So I think what I'm going to do instead is make it look like it's part of it there. Erase this front edge. Fill in a bit. Next frame. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go straight to the skip the eraser altogether. And then there we're good. Alright, so let's look at that real quick. Boom. Yeah, probably shouldn't have shattered into quite so many pieces. It probably would have been better if it was a little bit more bigger chunks that just kind of thunk roll over as opposed to kind of being brittle like that. But all in all, good little exercise.